Welcome back, superstar. This is video 5 in my series, in my mini course, How to Lead a Transformational Retreat, Integration, Follow-Up, and Ongoing Mastery. Here's the truth. You can create the most incredible experience in the world, but if people don't integrate that experience and do something with it, there will be no lasting transformation. So how do we help people integrate and actually implement whatever they got from your retreat into their lives? That's what this video is all about. Let's talk about that. Now, before we talk about that, it is important to mention that we live in a culture that doesn't do integration very well, especially now. We don't give ourselves a lot of time to integrate anything. We are all moving so fast, moving from one thing, one experience to the next, one conversation to the next, one client to the next. I know because this is how I lived for a lot of times and still have to take steps to counteract this because it's such a prevailing way of being in my life, in my world. So integration, what that means is essentially taking the juice out of every experience and extracting it, extracting the blessings, extracting the learnings, extracting the lessons from every experience. And in particular, a retreat, especially the one like the ones that we're talking about in this video series, a retreat is such an intense experience. There's so much learning, there's ahas, there are deep conversations, there are activities, there's so much richness in a retreat beyond what most people experience in a normal day of their lives. So there's generally way more material to integrate. So how do we do this? Well, there are lots of different ways that you can do it, but one thing is to integrate integration into your whole experience. Let me explain what I mean by that. Sometimes, and I will say I'm guilty of this in the past, we can say, all right, here, we're gonna have this incredible experience, chock full of events and activities, and then boom, at the end, okay, this is our integration time. That's the problem with that, is that all these activities and events got stacked up on each other and they didn't get juiced and integrated slowly. So one of the things you want to do is to build integration time into every part of your retreat, making sure that there's integration after every session, making sure that there's integration after every activity, after every conversation, right? It doesn't have to be hours of integration. It can be small. But for example, integration can look like journaling. It can look like having a conversation with somebody about something that just happened. So let's say you have an activity with everybody and they do this incredible activity. From that activity, perhaps having a conversation, like dividing them into little dyads or triads to talk about the experience and then have an opportunity to journal about the experience. Other ways to integrate involve creating something. So one of my favorite integration processes, which is an activity in and of itself, is to have people create something like a work of art, a vision board. We've done all sorts of different arts and crafts, which are not just arts and crafts. It's not just, people sometimes have this belief that it's like, oh, this is just, a fun activity we're doing. Actually, this is a way to infuse and integrate what you're learning into a physical object so that you can then take that object with you and have it be a reminder, a symbol, a touchstone for the work that you did, right? So one of the things that holotropic breathwork is one of the most amazing modalities I've ever experienced, and I'm looking to get certified in it soon. And one of the things that a lot of holotropic breathworkers do is after a breathwork experience, they have people draw something or paint something or color something because it helps to integrate the experience and infuse it into something visual that then they can take away with them and look at later. Now, before I dive into even more cool ideas about how to help you create integration in your retreats, I do want to invite you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I have hundreds of videos about how to be a more powerful leader, how to lead powerful transformational experiences, and how to make them into a business, how to do it in a profitable way. So I hope that you'll dive down the rabbit hole of my videos. Sometimes a really simple way to integrate is just to open up a sharing circle, right? One of my favorite integration processes is have every person share short and sweet about an experience that we just had together. So you can do it as a circle wide. You can, like I said, divide it into smaller groups. You can do journaling, you can do activities, you can do art. Another great way to do integration is to have somebody at your experience who's just focused on helping people integrate. So this can be a coach that has one-on-one conversations throughout the experience, during breaks, during downtime, in order to help people bring forward what they learned, that asks really good questions. I recommend having some sort of coach to do that. We bring a mindset coach into every single one of our experiences to help people address and integrate the mindset breakthroughs that they're having during those experiences. And then one thing you'll need to do, or that I recommend that you do, is to create integration time, just free time for people, but let them know that that's what it is. It's integration time. It's time to just ponder and journal and think about and have conversations about what you're getting from this experience throughout. One of the best things that you can do to support integration is to create some sort of completion ceremony at your retreat. So assuming that you're integrating all the way through, that last day, towards the end of that last day, is a really good time to invite people to synthesize it all, to take some time to really synthesize the whole of it, and then share with the group what they've gotten from the experience, whether that's a share or a declaration of some sort, but something public, something open to the group that helps everybody else witness that person and the journey that they've been on. There's something to be said, there's transformation that happens that you know about, that you do internally. There's something to be said for that transformation when you share it and you declare it with people. So every single one of my events ends with some sort of declaration circle and some sort of witnessing of that person by the whole group. And then last but not least, I do think that it's very valuable to have post-event integration. Every single one of my events, we have some sort of debrief after everyone's gone home and gone back into their world, an opportunity for them to come back into group on Zoom and share, this is what it's looking like for me. This is how it's integrating for me. This is what's showing up for me. This is how I'm facing what's coming up now from this new place, this transformed place. So we do an integration debrief the Tuesday after my family vacation retreats. And usually we still talk about it for a couple, for a month or even more after that. And then after my Superstar Business Breakthrough Retreats, we always have one about 30 days later, about 1 month later, where everybody gathers and they give an update on their progress. So I recommend having something after the event as well. And that also gives you the opportunity to make an invitation for ongoing mastery. If these people aren't already in your 1-year program, these follow-ups are the perfect opportunity to enroll into what's next with you. Speaking of enrolling into what's next, if you would like to work with me as your coach, as someone to support you in stepping into that higher, truer self, into leading your business in a more joyful, empowered, and aligned way, let's connect. You can find out more about my programs at superstaractivator.com. And if you want to connect with me personally about working with me, you can find out more about that at superstaractivator.com/go. I hope to see you soon.